evening stream is just like a chill second stream. It doesn't always happen, but some days that maybe I'm not so satisfied with the first earlier or the earlier stream, I just come online again later in the day, like now, to just say hi and hello to my subscribers that maybe missed, earlier streams. Yeah, how is everybody? And from the title, I'm just doing like a check-in, how is everybody? Today is Monday, first day of the week. We're already on what, 6th of October, so like the month is already flying. I wonder how everybody is. Like I don't know if people actually make resolutions, or I don't think it's the resolution. I think it's goals. I wonder if people, set goals for the month and all of that. I have goals for this month as well. Another interesting thing that the first day I ever spoke about David Foster Wallace, I did not plan to, put my hair in a bandana, yeah. But I did that day, and I started speaking about him. When I was speaking about him, I didn't even like register that bandanas were kind of his thing, yeah. Bandanas belong to nobody, obviously, but he's very, like, most of his public appearances, yeah, he had on a bandana, and so I don't know, so bandana, yeah. Also, I like the way it looks on my head. That is why I'm wearing it right now. Yeah. So there's this thing here that YouTube introduced recently. Hype. I've not noticed it yet when I'm watching other people's video, but I think you can do that. I don't know if my subscribers are aware of this, but you can actually hype, you know, a creator's video that you enjoy. Yeah. So if anybody wants to do that, on my own videos, like, that'll be appreciated. Yeah. Hype the video. Hyping the video gives it visibility. More people can come across my channel. Yeah. If you hype my videos. Hello, Whiskey. Welcome to the chat. Hi, hi. How was your day today? This stream is just for a check-in, like how was school or work today. um okay, Sionach, welcome to the chat. How was today for everybody? People that went to school, how was classes today? People that went to work, how was work today? I'm saying was because, like, right now, it's evening time here, like 6 o'clock in the evening here. So in other parts of the world, it might not be that late, yeah. But either ways, how has your day been, so far? My day has been interesting because I ended my earlier stream because of an appointment, yeah. And I already said it earlier, like when this month began. I was like, this month I might be um busier than in September, so my streams might not, go on for so long, yeah. But either ways, I'll still try to show up every day, and this is the second stream in one day, so the shorter my earlier streams are, the more likely I am to come back, for the second time online. Hello. Yeah. So just say hi while I kind of bring up something. I always have something to talk about. I don't know. Like, I think that is just like my special power. Like, I always have something to talk about. Yeah. Um. So what do I want to talk about? Books. Yeah. Actually, tomorrow I will definitely be reading poetry from my copy of Yeats, collection of works. So look forward to poetry tomorrow. Um, yeah, I just want to say that for people that are on the chat right now, yeah, on the stream right now, yeah. So look forward to poetry tomorrow, and we're going to discuss a lot of things. Also, I will continue discussing this book tomorrow. Yeah, I gave it a break because there's a lot of connection. Hello, Cleveland from Guyana. Is that the correct pronunciation? My name is King. I'm from Nigeria. How are you today, Cleveland? So I was like talking about this book. Yeah, I said I was going to speak a little bit about it tomorrow. Um, my name is King. Yeah, and I don't like that kind of um title, saying things like Black Queen. I don't like saying that. So please don't say that. Um, good to know for Cleveland. Is it okay? Cleveland, yes. My name is Cleveland. Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Um, Jollof and egusi, is that like your favorite Nigerian food? Is that your favorite Nigerian meal options? I don't particularly enjoy either of them, so I just eat it when it's time to eat food. Oh, thank you, Cleveland. Thank you for enjoying my voice. I hope your day, was okay today. My day was kind of busy. I had, appointments to keep, and it was a lot of, stressful, whatever. But either ways, at least I knew what I was getting myself into. So, well, I'm glad, yeah, for a change in like scenery sometimes. And the thing about appointments is, as long as I am, prepared, yeah, as long as I'm like prepared for the appointment, I don't have an issue. I don't like surprise, stuff and all of that. Um, I don't know. This person, Sionach, the things you are saying sound very contextless. Like you are speaking in a vacuum to me. Like I don't understand why you're saying all these things. Like what does that have to do with any like why are you saying these things? It's supposed to be, I don't know. Why are you saying it? Anyways, I'm so proud of my wall. I'm proud of how I decorated it. The green, yeah, the green paint was just like getting too stark and kind of stressing my eyes out. So I was like, let me just put something, you know, to decorate to bring my corner to life. And so I did all of that. Um, you can just speak English like say that. Don't say that. You are not a person. That is an insult. Don't say that about yourself. Just I don't know, talk regular. You don't need to say all those things you're saying. Like if you have questions about my country or whatever, yeah, you can ask. You can inquire different things. But like, I'm just saying, like, there is no need to start, spouting all this random ideas about people from my country, like Igbo men, Yoruba men, like I don't know. You can just, speak normal. Oh, thank you, Cleveland, for stopping by. Please subscribe, in case you might, be interested in what I have to say another time. Subscribe, check out my channel. I have plenty videos, plenty other streams you can connect with. Yeah, everybody subscribe, okay? Support my channel. My goal, I was talking about goals for October. Yeah? My goal for October is what, 500 subscribers, yeah, but in reality I'm actually just looking at 300 subscribers, yeah. Like if I get to 300 subscribers, that would be awesome. um Siraj is saying, I'm worried about Nigeria. I hear about a lot of conflicts happening right now. I mean, there's conflict all over the world. What exactly have you heard about Nigeria? Also, where are you from, Siraj? Where are you from? I'm curious, like, where your name sounds, I don't know if this is your name even. Um, where are you from? There's conflict all over the world. Like my channel always filled with conversations about like national, like global conflict and all of that. Yeah. So there's conflict. There's no country that is like absolutely still. Different things. I think it's because like in general, like things are changing worldwide. Yeah. And we don't know how things are changing. We don't know what is coming on the other side of change. But regardless, things are changing. Yeah. and even in your personal life, yeah, even in like most people when they come online to speak about things in their life, yeah, yeah, my life is daily Cleveland, daily. Scottish. The way you keep on saying Odogu, all right. Daily, like yes, my lives. I come online daily. I come on live streams daily. Scottish, you're from Scotland. Interesting. I think a lot of Nigerians are everywhere. Um, so that Baba Agege. Who is calling you? Who is calling you Baba Agege? Is that correct? The way I pronounce it, is it Agege they are calling you? Or Agaje or something? It feels like you're saying Agege or something. Agaje or something. Scottish Odogu. To bear the title of Odogu, yeah, you have to actually. Hello, blessings. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for coming to my live stream. To bear the title of Odogu, you know that you have to like follow certain traditional rites. Yeah, you can't just be bearing Odogu just like that. Um, yeah. I'm fine, blessings. I'm fine. I'm fine. I hope you are good as well. I got ginger for this one. Okay, you are just saying random words like. It's just funny to me, yeah. It's just funny to me. Um, Ginger for the swagger. That is from a literal song. I don't think people say that anymore. I don't think people use the word ginger your swagger anymore in Nigeria. Like we don't say that anymore. It has passed to the artist that brought it. um, Unofficial Babalawo of Scotland. Okay, as you like. Again, out of context and sort of weird, like please don't say these kind of things. Yeah, I feel like it would be better you just speak normally. Yeah, how about that? How about to drop the things you've picked up from your Nigerian neighbors over there? Yeah, and I don't even know the Nigerians that are probably around you have been away from home for a very long time. I assume for you to still be saying like ancient things like ginger the swagger, like no, no. That is weird. I don't like to see things like that. So like I said again, just say something like regular, just speak normal, okay? um there's no need to. Second of all, like another thing you have to know is like the way Nigeria is being presented here for people to be. It's okay as long as you're just chill and you don't cause much of a hassle for me or for other people on the stream there. Um, the way Nigerians are presented here like through the media, through music, and through just random YouTube videos. Yeah, I want you to know that not everybody's like that. Yeah, and for people like me, like I'm literally calling myself an alien. Yeah, people like me, I don't even like connect to such sort of behaviors, yeah, also such style of being like in my among my country people, yeah. And again, most of all those aesthetics you see being like glamorized of being a hard guy, you know thank you, blessings. Thank you so much for that. Please subscribe, support the channel. I would appreciate that. Most of the way Nigerians are presented online in the media is very exaggerated. Yeah. Yes, you come and you might see lots of behaviors like outwardly, yeah, but like it's not representative of all of the people in the country, and it comes off as rude when you meet like an average Nigerian and you start to speak all these their slangs that you picked up online. Yeah, it comes off as rude because people just like, hello, do I know you? Like, what is going on here? Yeah. Like that is how it is for an average Nigerian. Like you can't just pick. we have um we have a lot of respect for hardworking Nigerians. It's sad to see the youth acting like American bad boys. Yeah, that's the thing also. Nigerians are generally hardworking. That one is just true. Like on like because in this country there is no allowance to rest. There's no space, in our economy or in our systems for Nigerians to just find pleasure in things. So most of the time, everything Nigerians do has a motive of like surviving, survival. So we come across as hardworking, and we actually work hard, and we're hard on ourselves and all of that. Okay, Nigeria has struck. This is Nigeria. They've taken the light. I'm coming. Let me get my torchlight. They've taken the light. This is Nigeria. Oh my god. So this is Nigeria. I don't know if people would even be encouraged to stay on my live stream. 1 year later, they ignore that. Ignore will be your boss. I don't understand that sentence. Are you trying to say that Igbo men are industrious or something? That Igbo people are industrious? Hello, Abel. You guys, Nigeria happened though. They've taken the light, so I'm using my torchlight to see. Like, I came out extra late today because I was thinking, that maybe the light is going to last longer than usual. But we're in Nigeria, nobody has any care for. Um, I should not have planned around electricity. But thank you, Abel. Thanks for the compliment. Sinach, I don't understand what you're saying. You say if you hire an Igbo person, also Igbo is just a tribe. You have to attach the person to it. Igbo person, not just say an Igbo. That is just like weird. Hello Tito, welcome to the chat. Or is it Tito? Sorry about the pronunciation. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, welcome to the chat. So I was talking about Nigerians here and the fact that um when Nigerians go abroad here, the people that are going abroad here, they're from all classes here. And I don't know, they may display certain kinds of behavior, that might not be um I don't know, might not be palatable, but at the end of the day, you can't use, your experiences with one person to judge an entire, group of people or something. So that's all I'll say about that. Um, Hello Shiva, welcome to the chat. I hope you can see my face. So maybe if they bring the light, which I doubt, maybe if they bring the light, during the live stream, maybe I'll stay longer. But if there's no light, I have to like the place is going to get progressively darker. Yeah. But anyways, yes. So that's what I was just talking about here. Just basic, I don't know how to talk about Nigeria without um going down the route of nationalism, but also respecting the humanity, and the personhood of every individual Nigerian is where I'm coming from. Yeah. Um. Um. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. I guess. Thank you for that, Shiva. I hope you also love yourself and you also, like yourself and you show love to yourself today. I was asking everybody, like, how has everybody's day been today? How has, things been for you today? Did you um, go to school today? Did you go to work today? Or are you still at work? Like, our time over here, it's pretty late. Hello, Edward. Anne. Hello, Anne. Hi. Welcome to the chat. How to come to India? I heard that India is not so friendly to um anyways, where in the world is friendly to women, but mm, one day I will visit India one day. Hello Anne. Hi. Welcome to the chat. If you I can't even say if you like what you say because I'm in total darkness here. I'm in total darkness. I don't know if you can see my face here. But that is what happens. Like when you live in Nigeria, like people just like the light is unstable, and no matter what you are doing, if you ever make a plan around electricity being present, is you're better off making plans around darkness, you know. I never said hate to Shiva already. I don't know what you're talking about. I never said hate India. I said I will visit India one day. So I'm like, if you, it's better as Nigerians, like it's better you make plans around darkness than making plans around light, because light is very unstable, and we don't have consistent electricity supply in our country. So that's just that's just Nigeria, you get, and it's like the first thing most people get to like really appreciate when they go abroad, I mean Nigerians, is that first of all they never have to worry about light again in their lives. And it's like it's such a burden off of a person's shoulder, when you when you come into the awareness that you don't have to stress about your battery being low, or about light affecting your business and all of that here, because you're in a country that has 24/7 lights. I don't know why we're talking about light, because it's very important to my stream. Oh my god, oh my god. So anyways, earlier in the stream I mentioned what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be reading poetry. I'll be reading poetry. I will be reading also this book that I've started a while ago, A Weep Not Child, by this African author from Kenya, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi wa Thiong'o. So I'm going to be reading this book as well tomorrow. I've started it, I've begun it already. Look at the picture. Yeah, this is such a very heart-wrenching picture, yeah, and it's representative of, I think, the character in the book. Most of the characters in the book, you can see them in this face here. So anyways, I'm going to be talking about like this stuff happening in the book tomorrow. Asking me to come to India is very easy, but like, do you know what it entails to travel to another country from my place? And also, coming to India, like, will you host me? No, I don't even want you to host me, like, but I've already said it that I will come to India one of these days. Yeah, one of these days. It's actually on my travel list here to visit India, mostly because I just want to experience their cuisine, and experience some part of their country. Basically, the geographical landscape of their country. Yeah. Most people that go to India, they share videos of taking hikes, and I want to go on walks, and take hikes as well in like every part of the world. Yeah. I want to walk through different countries, natural reserved areas, or natural parks and all of that. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, Shiva already. Good night. Yeah, thank you for visiting my stream. Yeah, travel is such a wonderful idea. It's always wonderful like to contemplate traveling, yes, and especially for somebody like me that actually enjoys plane rides. Yeah, I enjoy plane rides. I don't think I've ever been scared of being on the plane before, but the first time I traveled there, it was hard for me because of the food options. Like the meal options just kind of made my life difficult or inside the plane. Like at the end of the day, I just could not eat anything, and it was like making me so sick. I had to just I ended up just drinking green tea for the rest of the flight. But then again, I was traveling to the UK, so maybe because that is typical of UK people food, yeah, those kind of meals. It's like, no, thank you, I will not have that, yeah. So I don't know. It was just I think it was a shock for my system, yeah. So the shock to my system, just eating their meal options on the plane. And then there's this thing that I didn't know you could actually ask the hostess like to kind of heat up your meals for you or something if you wanted, but I don't know if that's available for people on economy flights. Yeah. But it was difficult, like I was struggling, and then eventually I was like, can I have like green tea? Like my mom was with me, and she was like, just drink hot tea, and you'll be fine. Obviously, they didn't have pap, they didn't have ogi on the plane. This is my mom's like remedy for my mom's remedy for any form of sickness. She'd be like, you know what, just eat something very neutral for your tummy or something so that you don't feel so sick anymore. And like she'll be like, okay, let me do ogi for you. And like obviously they're not going to have ogi on this plane. So I took green tea, and it worked, yeah. And because it worked, hello Janet, welcome to the chat. It is so dark because NEPA just took light, so bear with me, okay? I have my torchlight on here like this, so bear with me. Um, so I was talking about my experience here on the plane, yeah, and obviously they can't give you ogi on your plane on the flight here, and an international flight. So we took, like, my mom asked for green tea, and it actually worked. Yeah, it settled my tummy, and I felt so much better. I think since then I developed a love for green tea. Like I can take it without. I even enjoy having tea without sugars and all of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's just an anecdote, yeah, about travel, yeah. Ever since then, I feel like I've been very sensitive and careful, with myself. Funny enough, when I travel by road, I'm not scared of um, um, food poisoning or indigestion or just nausea, but when I'm on the plane, I experience those things so easily, and it could just be in a moment I'll just start to feel like maybe nauseated and all of that. This is somebody that actually enjoys flying, yeah. So why the hell should I feel that? Why feel my body like, reacting that way? But anyways, last year and early this year I was doing a lot of traveling, and like it was just inside my country, Nigeria, yeah. And then I took the train from one state to another, which was awesome. I'm so happy that I decided to, like, take this mini sabbatical, yeah. Where I just traveled around to different places, and it was kind of like a backpacking trip because I ended up just, living with friends and family, and I felt it so squarely in my chest how much of an inconvenience, I like a visitor could be. It's not, when I look at it, when I talk to people, I'm like, oh, stop over, visit me, stay with me, please, like, I don't mind hosting you, but if you are now the one being hosted, you're going to feel there's a level of discomfort here that just is boundless when you when you stop over at somebody's home. Yeah, you just feel like I don't know. I just, most of the time, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. I could not eat well, and it's not even as if I could not eat well. My appetite just sucked so bad because I just felt uncomfortable, um, in the way that was probably, like, being a discomfort to the people I was, stop visiting. Or no, I wasn't visiting them, I was inconveniencing them. I was like, staying over at their place, and because I needed a place to stay as I moved through my journey or whatever, so I felt it very acutely, and I felt so apologetic, and I felt so thankful at the same time, because it's like, at the end of the day, these people were beautiful people. They were kind to me. um they encouraged me to be free, and I was like, okay, easier said than done. Like, of course I will be free. Like, I don't know how. Oh well, anyways, that is, I feel like that was just the price to pay, in my desire to, like, just, leave my environment and just, like, see Nigeria, you get, which I did, and I think that desire to see Nigeria, is something that, if I was in a country that was much, much safer. No, not if I was in a country, because it doesn't matter, where you go to. The point is, this is the country where I was born, yeah, and if the country where I was born was, much safer and much, kinder to its citizens, yeah, I feel like I'll be the type of person that would actually just, like, for half of every year I would spend it just traveling. I would spend it traveling, visiting like local areas, local village, like villages, experiencing people's cultures, experiencing people's, cuisines, because Nigeria is so diverse. We have over 250 ethnic groups. So when I meet people and people just start to say things like jollof rice, or start to say things like Yoruba people, or say things like Igbo people, and I'm like, bro, you don't even know the half of it. Like Nigeria has tons of ethnic groups. Yeah, there are even some ethnic groups to most Nigerians that they've not even like experienced before, because the country is very much affected by violence that is being sponsored. And I will not say anybody's name directly, but I feel like the violence that we experience in our country, the insecurity, that is at all-time high in our country, is maintained for a reason. Is maintained to prevent um growth, is maintained to prevent progression of this country, is maintained to prevent things from being certain, it's maintained to prevent things being right in our country. Because the more shitty the country is, the more this exploitative class can steal from the people, can steal from the masses. The more there's so much unrest, the more people will not be able to pay attention to how wrong every other thing is in the country, because everybody just be like, let me just be safe, let me just stay where I am. I cannot afford to have empathy or sympathy for these people in this side of the country that have it so much worse than me, because even me myself that I'm here, I'm trying to survive, all those kind of mentality. Yeah. It's just like very unfortunate that that's the situation Nigeria lives in right now. You get. And like when I was serving, yeah, when I went for my youth service, because that's one thing Nigerians do that I don't think other countries do, but it's so like it's supposed to be. It was implemented. The beginning of the idea of like National Youth Service Corps is to promote diversity amongst Nigerians. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening from Sudan. Hi, welcome to the chat. My name is King. There's no light, there's no electricity. That's why everywhere is dark. So I hope you enjoy the chat. Hello. I can see you. I can see your messages. So I was talking about my country, and I was talking about how earlier this year I went like sort of backpacking across my country. But it was not really backpacking, because it's not that kind of travel is very dangerous for us in this country. But I went through like train, and I went through airplane mode of transportation. So it was, I experienced so many things. Yeah, I enjoyed experiencing local cuisines from the places I stayed in. Hello, Vidi, Miyagi, good evening. Thank you for joining the chat. Where are you from? I'm from Nigeria. There's no light, so everywhere is dark. But I hope you enjoyed the chat. I hope you still have a wonderful time today, because I like what I'm talking about today. I feel like it's interesting, because it's about me, going backpacking across my country, but not really backpacking. It's just like traveling through through the safest kind of transportation I can afford, which is train transport and flights, airplanes. So I was talking about for like my desire to travel has always been inside of me, yeah, like since I was a child. Yeah. I've wished to see the rest of the country. You understand? My country, Nigeria. And Nigeria is so diverse. We have over 250 ethnic groups. Can you imagine? 250, and the majority, no, they're not even the majority, but the most popular groups, tribal groups being pushed, I think it's just being pushed because, there's this need to be palatable to palatable to foreign, foreign whatever, foreign people, foreigners. It is in the dark, oh my dear, from South Africa. Nigeria does not have consistent light, so that's what we deal with. That's what we deal with. But at the end of the day, I cannot say I love my country, because I don't. I like the fact that there are like wonderful experiences. My name is King. My name is King. My name is King. So I was talking about backpacking. Yeah, it's not technically it was not backpacking. It was just me moving from one state to the other, and then I experienced some kind of technical difficulty. I could not leave one state and I had to stop by another state. It was just very complex, but either ways it was an experience that I will forever enjoy. I'll forever remember with fondness. So there's this thing Nigerians do, like Nigerian government implemented for the youth. I think it was in 1970. There's this program called National Youth Service Corps. So in this program, when you finish your university, when you finish study at the university, oh my God, for real? For when, VD? When did you? I've never heard of South Africans having this issue. Yeah. I hope one day we will also progress past this electricity issue, man. Like seriously, I hope one day we'll progress past it as a country, as a nation. So the government in 1970, they were like trying to reduce tribal tension and tribal hatred, and bigotry and all of that. So they implemented this program called NYC, yeah, National Youth Service Corps. So after you studied in university, no matter what you study in university, you will have to go through 1 year train, sponsored by the government, where you are sent to a different state from where you were born, a different state, usually from even where you studied. You go to another state in the country and you live there for 1 year. Like you live there for 1 year, you have to adapt to the new environment, you adapt to the local cuisines, adapt to different, cultures there. And like I had a teacher in secondary school that told me he's an Igbo man, yeah, but he said he learned fluent Hausa. Like that is the language of, the generalized language of the northerners there. Like he said he learned fluent Hausa when he went to serve in Kaduna. Like and when he told me that thing, when I was in, like, I think SS2, I felt this, this excitement in my chest for when I would go to serve as well. Hello Edith, welcome to the chat. I was like, yes, I want to save, but I was just in secondary school, so I was like, I have to go to the university first. I have to finish my university education and then I go to serve. So I was really looking forward to service here. So eventually, when it was my time to serve, yeah, I was anxious as hell, man. I was so freaking anxious. What's the point of putting you through that for a year? It's to promote diversity now. It's to promote diversity. It's to promote, friendship between the tribes. Hello, Big Presido. Welcome to the chat. Edith, yes, I'm from Nigeria. It's to promote diversity, VD. You'd have to understand the motive of it all. It's to make, and again, since we just came out from university, we just got what formal education. There's also need for us to expand our minds and our and be open-minded, to people from different backgrounds, and how best to do that, if not that you immerse yourself in the culture of a people that is completely different from yours, and you have to, like, kind of relate with them for you to, exist in that environment. So that was the point of our national youth service. Like I said, when it was my time, I was so nervous. I cannot even lie. I was so nervous. I was scared. But the thing about Nigeria is that there's a lot of corruption in our country, and I don't know if you can hear me still, but there's a lot of corruption in our country, and there is this thing that people do, where you can pay, somebody, some official in the system, and you end up being posted to maybe your own hometown, or you end up being posted to a big city where you don't have to struggle to survive in the wilderness or somebody's like village or something like that, yeah? And sometimes you can't blame those people that make all those efforts for their children, because like I said, Nigeria, there's a lot of violence, and most of these violence are localized in different states, for certain, like for some certain agenda, by whatever government is in power at the time, the government or the administration that, has this agenda for a certain part of the country. Hello, Munir. Nice to see you again. So the administration that has certain agenda for a certain part of the country, to extort them, to exploit them in a very weird way that nobody can ever make sense of, for whatever reason. Yes, that's the fun thing about it. You get an allowance from the government every single month. Okay, you don't go there. You don't. You get an allowance from the government. Yeah, and then if you are posted to a place that is not so, if you are posted into a part of the what do you call this now, government work, because when you go as a copper, yeah, you are assigned to different government parastatals. Yeah, you work for the government, you don't work for private bodies. You get, so some of these government parastatals might have enough funding to give you extra allowance on top of your government allowance. But sometimes, most of the time, most of these government parastatals are just very poor, so they can't give you any extra allowance. So all you depend on is your government stipend, like the things you receive from the government. Yeah, and it's like it's supposed to be this adventure, to be honest. Like I'm saying it with so much joy in my heart because I'm thinking of my time here. It's supposed to be this adventure, yeah, but there's a lot of reality. The realistic part of it is just like there's a lot of corruption. So many parts of Nigeria, it suffers violence, and sometimes nobody want their child that just fresh off of university to go and die in some random state here just because of government. So they pay people within the system to make their children come and stay close to home, or to stay in a safer state, states that does not experience violence. You see that I enjoy the most video. Let me tell you what I enjoy the most. The thing I enjoy the most is that okay, so I lived in the southwest or most of my life, and I've always been curious about the northern part of Nigeria. Yeah, and so when my service letter came out, and they posted me to the most they posted me to the north. Basically, they posted me to a state there in the north, and I was scared because nobody in my family has ever been to that area of the country. I have no relatives there. I had no relatives there. I had no friends there. Like there was nothing that ever connected me to the north here. But somehow I was posted there, and then the night I saw my posting online, I was crying. I was so scared. And so my mom was trying to like assure me, because once they post you, it's hard for you to change. The only thing you can do is that okay, so the way the service works is that when you get to the state of your posting, yeah, you do some kind of military training for 3 weeks. Yeah, you stay in a camp, a government built camp, and like it's both women and men, boys and girls. Yeah, but our schedule is like regulated as if we're in the military, you understand? So we wake up at like 6 or 5. You wake up at 5, you dress up like this military training. Yeah, so you're not supposed to dilly dally. You wake up 5 in the morning, you rush to the assembly, you like stand in line, you listen to others, and we are like in a camp. We're usually more than, I don't know, I can't estimate the numbers, but like we're in thousands. Yeah, yeah, I left my family, for one, because it was so freaking scary. And the camp place here, the camp that we go to, you have to go through military training. Nobody can escape 3 weeks training. That we call it orientation camp. So you go to orientation camp, you register, you get your uniform, you get your whites, you get your shoes. Government, supplied all of it. The government is giving you your shoes, your hats, your uniform. We have uniforms for specific days. Every day we wear white and white. You must always be on white on white. You can't bring clothes to camp. Yeah, you also you have to buy before you get to camp. You have to buy white shirt, white shorts, white socks, white tennis shoes. And when you get to camp, they'll give you white tennis shoes, and they'll give you boots, like military boots. They give us our uniform. If you see our uniform, we also look like a variation of our military's uniform as well. So like it's like serious business. We have commandants. We are divided into platoons. I was in platoon number 7, and we have all these like goals for certain period of our camp life. Maybe after 1 week, so platoon has to present this. After 2 weeks, so platoon has to, and then we take care of the camp ourselves. Like we are divided into, like, we have to do chores for the camp, within the camp. Hello, big presido. Hi. We have to do chores within the camp. Some people are assigned to the cafeteria, some people are assigned to the hostel, some people are assigned, like it's rotated, and then we are now further divided into hostels. So you stay in a hostel, you have a room head, you have head of the entire building or something. Like it's very regimented, yeah. So if your life has been very free in university, like you have fun in university, you played around, like when you go to camp, orientation camp, you are, everything is just strange, like like it's a whole new world. There's a different level of stress. Most people miss their parents, and people get so homesick, because you can't ever leave the camp. Like the state you live in, everybody in the state knows, like we have, everybody becomes aware that we have coppers in our state. So that place is no-go area. That place is, protected. We have literal military officers, coming around, monitoring the situation, everything. So like it's very serious business, yeah. But when I went there, when I went there, I was so, I don't know, I was excited, but there's also like a level of depression that comes to you, like comes over you when you're like far from home and you're in this cold, like, okay, where I was posted to was the north, and something that's very characteristic of the north is that it can get really cold there. Colder than the rest of Nigeria, and where I was especially cold. In fact, that place used to be a very massive tourist center for like foreigners, because when they came, it would be as if they are in their own country because of the weather. The weather conditions was exactly like where they were coming from, and they had so many tourist attractions. In that state has a lot of hills, mountains. People like foreigners enjoy, those kind of things. But it's no longer the same now because of the whole violence in that state, which is what I'm getting to, is that state, as much as I was excited to be there, by the end of the camp, things had gotten so hostile, in the villages, for the people of the state. There was this violence where people were coming in the night and killing, villagers in their sleep, burning their huts down, chasing them in the middle of the night, join the police force or military. That's the thing about youth service. It is not a direct connection to the police force or military. You serve, and it's as if you're in the military, but once you serve, there's no link there's no link between the service corps and our government forces of like police or the army. Nothing. There's no single link. That's the interesting part about our experience as corpers. Yeah, we feel as if we are like, we are under the military. We are like there's one funny thing that happened. Like somebody posted a video here recently when they are coppers here. They are wearing their uniforms, and then when their vehicle was stopped by police here, the police was not like was greeting them like, okay, how far? They're not like esprit de corps. So police was not like esprit de corps, how? Which parastatal are you under? And they're like, oh, we are coppers now. Okay. It was the funniest thing. Like, what do you mean you are coppers? Like, me and you, we are not the same. Don't ever say that kind of thing. Like, so it's kind of like this pretend, like, it's kind of like a pretend show, just for us to feel like, we are doing something intense, to give us this feel of, being active. Exactly. It was funny. Like, the police officer was like, don't, he could not even get angry because it was just funny. You get, and again, another thing about coppers in Nigeria is that once you're a copper, you're kind of like government baby. You see, like the government, like you are regarded as the government children, because like at the end of the day, we say it's not like you are police adjacent, you are not army adjacent, you are nothing adjacent, but you are still regarded as kind of like a baby officer for the government here, because at the end of the day, we are posted into government positions. Sometimes we work in local government, sometimes we work with teaching public schools, we work in we even get posted to like immigration office, we get posted to all of these forces anywhere that is government parastatal. You can take your paper there that, see, I'm a copper, they posted me here, so they will find office for you to occupy. You understand? So that's how very interesting that whole like initiative is. You get, and I had fun with mine, yeah, because I was working under a government parastatal, like military, like uniformed officers, yeah. It was not the army, and it was not the police, yeah. But we were with some officers, yeah, under the government, some form of government, some form of officers, yeah. But there's no single link between us and any of these government parastatal. You can't say, oh, I served those, so I want to apply to the police. No, they will kick you out of their office. So it doesn't apply at all. But it's just exciting, because wherever you go, sometimes if you are new to a place, yeah, the vehicles like buses, they wouldn't charge you if you say you don't have money. They'll be like, nakopa nakopa. So why do we even pay for you in the bus? Like, people will pay for you because a lot of people, have experiences of, like, a lot of adults, parents, they'll be like, my own picking to the another state, oh, let me pay for you so that my own child too will do well. So people will be like, oh, I served this year, oh, let me pay for you. Some people will buy food for you, like especially when you're in a new state, everybody will be like, are you a copper? And you're like, I'm a copper. They'll be like, okay, don't worry, take it for this price. Like, there's this kind of just this cool period where everybody wants to be kind to a couple, because it's just like there's a sense of pride that, oh, you finished school, you studied well, and you're serving the government. How nice, how beautiful, and like we are being treated like egg. I mean, treated like egg basically by everybody. Like, if you go to a new state, like my eldest sibling, yeah, he went to one state that, like, he has never been to before. He doesn't know anybody there. But like, because all of them were like very obviously not from that state, yeah, there was a level of hospitality that was shown to them. And even though the conditions were very poor, because government don't get money, that what they used to say, government don't get money. But like, I think my sibling was teaching in a public school. He had experiences with he had to like make do with what he had. Like, it was just very new. But basically the environment, like, everybody was there. They're like, oh, come drink palm wine with us now. Like, they will invite you to things like that because you're in the village. Yeah, they'll be like, come drink palm wine with us now, come and try this food, like, it's just so wonderful. I feel like that's the most interesting part of our education. So that's why a lot of parents, yeah, when I was growing up, a lot of parents be like, no, I'll not send my child like, no, they'll say things like, even if I send my child abroad to school, my child must come back and serve, because that copper experience, I think in our parent generation, most of them are not fortunate to go to school. Hey, if you run away, you can't run away. They will take, you can't run away. Remember I said military. Remember I said military. You can't run away. What do they used to call it though? Exemption. Some people, yeah, some people, if you have if you have money, that's another thing. Like I said, the system is very beautiful, like this whole initiative, yeah, but it's also like anything that is made in Nigeria, is subject to corruptions and corrupt practices. So some parents, like, that have a lot of money, yeah, they want their child to have this, because after you finish NYSC, you can't get that your certificate, yeah, you can't get a job in Nigeria if you don't have NYSC certificate. Like, if you want to get a job after school based on what you studied, after your school certificate, after your diploma, you must show them your NYSC like certificate. If you don't have an NYSC certificate and you just have diploma, they will say you should go and serve and come back. So the people that can get exemptions from doing it, they don't not do it though. We do monthly check-ins where you go to your local government and you sign in that you came for the month. So what rich parents do for their children is that they pay for them, they pay officials within the government, within the system, that every month, just sign for my child, that my child came for service this month, or that my child fulfilled government service this month. You get it? They say that, so they pay for it. They pay the officials, and the officials make sure this. But they say that they must have a record of you signing in every single month. You can't just say, I will not show up, I will not sign. You must at least come and sign. Okay, or somebody must sign for you. If you don't sign, you will not get your certificate at the end of the year. And if you don't get that certificate at the end of the year, you can't even apply for government position. Like, all this, our presidents, our governors, like, most of the time, there is real scandal if there's rumor spread that this person did not serve. Like, you can't do anything in our country. Like, I just think about it now. Like, if you don't have an NYSC certificate, yeah, and that NYSC certificate, you can't buy it. You get, except maybe you're the president or something. But even the president showed proof of going to service, yeah. But if you're not at that level of power in our country, no matter how rich you are, at least you must sign and get that certificate. If you don't get that certificate, you must go back. You will go back and say, and do that service, and if you are too old, there will be a mark on your record that, oh, you did not serve. Everybody serves. Yeah, you think it's a joke, but you can't run away. So the other interesting thing about services are also some women, they might be engaged, so they come to camp and they are pregnant, so those ones are giving special health exemptions, but those ones still sign every month. Even pregnant women sign every month. Like, it's just so interesting. Like, now that I think about it, you can't run away because soldiers will pursue you. And then when you go to camp is 3 weeks here. I said 3 weeks here. If you go to camp, you can never leave the gates of that camp. If you leave the gate of that camp, you have to wait till another year to apply to serve with another batch. You understand? Because your name will now be struck from the record, and you get. Do you understand that matrix about savings? Hello Sunday. I don't understand what matrix are you talking about? Um, I'm having this conversation about Nigerian youth service here. So like, you can't run away once you enter with your load into the camp. Yeah, you can't go to that. In fact, people are prohibited from going to the gate, approaching the exit gate of our camp. If you can't cross that line, if you cross that line, soldiers will literally kick you back. It's interesting. That's the thing I always like. Whenever I think about it, I think about it with fondness, because like, it's just like, okay, that was a very wonderful idea, and there's a lot to do. You have to prepare properly. You have to make sure that you take all your, if you have health issues, you have to make sure you take all your health requirements. Also sign different whatever. During my period of service here, I think it was just like 1 year after COVID here, and we had to do COVID tests. We had to do like obey COVID like requirements and all of that and all of that. It was very interesting actually. Then I did that. They did that nose swab for us. So if you showed signs of COVID, they'll send you back home. They'll strike your name. You have to wait. Go to the hospital, get quarantined. You have to wait for the following batch another year. You get like, so I just, very interesting. I think that conversation is about me. I think after my service here, I felt this itch. When I returned home, I felt this itch to travel again. And I was telling my friend, I want to travel, but they were me. I was thinking then that maybe my desire to travel was to leave the country. But then early this year, I traveled. Like, okay, last year before Christmas, I left my home. I said I want to travel, in Nigeria, and I went nowhere. I just said, you know what, I'm leaving home. Let me go somewhere. I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any cents in my account. I was like, let me just go somewhere. It's not Nigeria. So that was a very dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't advise anybody to do it. That's very dangerous, but I was lucky. I was able to get like somebody, agreed to like let me stay and all of that. But I think that itch to travel has not gone anywhere around my own country, like to travel to different places, especially the north. Like, the north is such an interesting place to go. The only thing about the north is that there are a lot of restrictions here for women. If you're a man and you want to travel to the north, you would have a fairly easy time, adapting to the requirements. Oh, thank you, video. Thank you. So when I thought about when I told my friends that I'm doing this thing, she was like, that's actually insane. I don't think you should. And then I told another of my friend, he was like, I don't think you should. I think you should just relax. And whatever is, stressing you, maybe if you relax at home, your senses will come back, and I was like, I'm not okay. I need to leave. And and I left. But when I was returning here, one thing I will say, after I returned, yeah, that I'm very proud of myself for is that I was scared that when I, returning home would, stoke this feeling of regret in me, that, oh my God, why did you come back? You have just kept going, like, and there was this feeling of how to say, when you feel as if you did not do something well enough. I felt like as if when I return home, I would feel like like an imposter, like I was fake, like if I was really being authentic, I should have gone, I should have pushed myself harder to, explore more, to go to another state and all of that. And while all of that is like interesting and it's cool to think about, but like when I returned home here, I didn't feel any of that, like emptiness and you know despair about life that kind of pushed me to leave the house. Yeah, I didn't feel it again. I felt very, I felt as if when you eat and you're full. That's how I felt. That itch within me, I feel like I completely scratched it, and I was okay. I felt like, okay, so maybe I was right to follow that instinct. Yeah, even though I really have nothing to show for it. Yeah, I have, like, when I went, when I left home, I was like, you know what, maybe I could find a job, in this different environment. I went to all my certificates, all of my qualifications. I was like, I made up my mind, I'm going to search for a job, find something, a way to settle down in that area of the country. But it was futile, because that area of the country, has, a certain level of poverty, that is kind of very inhumane to think about, and it felt more, it was just like this shock. I became aware of other people's suffering, at a very, very close range. I saw, women and children suffering, in ways that I could not even begin to contemplate in that part of the country. I'm living in the same country as these people, like, why have I never, considered the possibility of, this level of suffering, in this country, and it kind of pushed me out of the bubble I was living in, where I was wrapped up in my own despair. I was wrapped up in my own suffering. I was like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. Nothing's working out for me. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, because my life is better. No, it's not as if there's any better situation here. It's just like instead of focusing on trying to just solve situations for me, now there are people that I feel like I want to speak up for. There are situations now that I see that there is much need to talk about, much need to bring to the forefront, of discussions. We can't just keep ignoring that the people in the north are going through some kind of oppression, yeah, that we over here in this countryside of the country, we cannot even pretend to begin to, like, understand the kind of suffering that they are going through. You get. And then again, there was also this aspect that, kind of scraped me raw. Living with people, I learned that all of the social skills I thought, I developed were rubbish, because living with people, you have to learn how to adapt to different kinds of people's expectation of visitors, of guests. Yeah, you have to learn how to, follow the culture of somebody else's home. There are certain things that you cannot even say. There are certain things you cannot say. Like me, I'm the type of person that I blurt things out, and I realized that, even when you blurt things out, it doesn't change anything. People are who they are. Okay, your realization of something that, you don't like, or you think is not okay, is not always going to change anything. Because these people are coming from their own world. Okay, they live in a different world than you do. So even if you speak, you get. Yeah, sometimes, once you see other people's struggles, it makes you more grateful, because it's where, like, you see, it's like you see that, my problems are nothing. You get. And that's the thing I'm even trying to even avoid, that feeling of like, oh, my problems are nothing. It's like, even if my problems were big, it would not still, invalidate how serious, like, I don't want to look at it to this measurement scale of, oh, those people are suffering more than me. I want it to be, in my eyes, to just be like, oh, there's a whole world out there, and there's different realities that people live in. And so, and those people's realities, I feel like it is much um how to say it now, it is much fulfilling for me, to be aware of it each time I suffer in my own world. Like each time I go through the horrors of my own world, there's this feeling of knowing that I'm not alone in my suffering. You get that? Like at the end of the day, you get wrapped up in your world when you're depressed, or you feel as if your life is going nowhere. You get wrapped up in your suffering that, oh, maybe my problem is so unique, maybe I'm the only one existing and suffering, and it's not fair, and all of that. But when you see other people suffering, kind of this like feeling of comfort, that not that I'm happy somebody's suffering, it's just like I don't need to feel as if this world is against me. Okay, I don't need to personalize my suffering and make it a source of extra pain on my life. I can just accept that sometimes the world is just chaotic like that. Sometimes the world just plays out like that. The world does not specifically hate anybody. You get, the world does not specifically hate you. You understand? If the world does not hate you, and the world does not also hate this other person that is suffering like this, so where do we approach, bringing comfort to our lives from? How do we alleviate our sufferings? You get, and then you now begin to see that it is on you. It is on you to go inside and do the work. You get, if that is where your problem is coming from, it is on you to address the other human beings living with you. We cannot keep saying, oh, that's how my country is. No, a country is made up of people. Yes, exactly. You just see, that's just the word for me. I think that's what I was looking for. Like, it, like something to take my face away from how for my own suffering. You get, BD says, I understand you. It just makes you stop sulking, thinking I'm the only one suffering. Exactly. You just be like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. What, like I said, when I was coming back, when I was returning, coming back to the house, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to go back home. The major thing that really hooked me was that I I struggled. I struggled to find maybe regrets that, oh, I did this thing, so maybe I no, there was no single regret in me. There was no regretting. And even when I got to the house and I laid on my bed in months, guy, in months, I finally laid on like my own bed and I felt like comfort and at peace. You get, it just hit me that like I thought maybe being in the house would trigger the suffering again, would make me fall back into this old, pit I was trying to run away from. And then I realized that, hey, I'm no longer the same person that left this house, and that I've returned back. I'm no longer the same person. So who am I now? You get, that is the question. That is what I look forward to every morning. Like when I wake up, I'm like, oh, me, what am I? Who am I? You get, that is why even the name of my channel, KingisanAlien, you get, it's just so fitting for me. It was during my travels I came to that awareness that, oh, I'm an alien. And if you see the videos on my channel, yeah, there was some videos I made, documenting my travels. You will see it under my nomadic playlist. If you go there, you see different things. Different thought process I came to when I was like traveling. The different experiences I had. And most of those videos is just contemplative videos. Like I was just contemplating a lot. I had so much time to be alone. I was not surrounded by anything familiar. I was in a new place. Everything was new, everything was strange. There were new rules I had to abide by that I'd never ever had to follow before. But for me to be in this place, I have to follow those rules. How does that make me feel? Does that make me feel as if, did that make me feel like as if I was less of a human being? Did that make me lose any form of autonomy? And it was like, no, because I'm happy to be here. I want to be here. Yes, I will follow your rules. I don't care. I want to be here. You understand? And it's like that's a different view from when I'm sitting in my house, far away from that side of the world, of the country, and I'm like, oh, when I look at people online, from that side, I'm like, oh, these people are following certain rules, and they should be free to live their life. And it's like, well, freedom is different for everybody. You cannot define freedom, for another person from where you are standing. You get, and I like when I was in that place, I felt free. You get, and it's not as if I was happy. I wasn't happy. Not one day was I happy in that place. I suffered a lot, but the suffering was different. You get, and it didn't read to me as suffering because all the things I've always recognized as my own suffering, you get, King, thank you. Thank you. I was really, 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 really questioning if it would like make like some people say things like YouTube, you need to have cool names or whatever so that people can remember your channel, and it's like, is this cool enough? I really doubted it. Like, well, I was like, either way, that is representative of what I am. I'm an alien, you get. So I'll always be new to wherever I find myself. That's just what being an alien is, and that's fine, you get. I might be in community with people, but I still feel alien, you get. And there's nothing wrong with such feelings, yeah, and all of that. So what I was talking about is like, you can't define freedom for somebody else from where you're standing, because at the end of the day, everybody has their own outlook on life and their expectations from the world. And it's like, my expectations from the world are so different that when I look at you, I feel as if you are chained. But you might be thriving in your freedom, your own idea of what freedom is. And when I moved to that part of the country, I felt it. I felt it. And it's not always as if, people say things like, when you when you are fulfilled, you'll be happy, or when you change environment, you'll be happy. And it's like, I don't want to aspire to happiness anymore. Happiness is such a futile emotion to aspire to. What about peace? What about contentment? Because that's another thing that, I've always been running away from, the feeling of contentment. I've always been scared of it, that, just staying in the house, being jobless, and what to do with my life after school. I cannot just relax and let things come to me. I need to explore the world. I need to go out. I need to do things and do things. And I'm like, okay, so I've done something. Leave the house, and I left the house, and wherever I went to, it's not as if I was up and running every day. It's not as if I got the contract that gave me $1 billion or something. You get. But at the end of the day, there was this feeling that now started coming into my heart. It was a new kind of feeling. It was a feeling of contentment, and I was like, hey, what is this feeling? What is this feeling? I like it, but it's not as if everything is perfect in my life right now. So why do I feel good about feeling content? Yeah, why do I feel good about being alone and recognizing myself as an alien? Why does it feel good, even though there's no real measurement being met, there's no real standard being met, you get, of happiness, of success? Okay, also the feeling I had to redefine success for myself again, you get. Obviously success for me is not going to look like success for anybody, but I didn't know that. I was waiting to have, like, everybody around me was marking different boxes, checking boxes of success, careers, marriage. Some people even started having children, like among my mates, my peers, and it's like, when is my life going to start? When is my life going to start? So it's like, when I went on this journey, when I went on this sabbatical, I was just like, hey, who told you your life was ever on hold before? Who is the one driving this so-called vehicle that you feel as if they need to speed up? It is all in your hands, yeah. And how far you've been going, or the way you've been going, has been determined by you, because you feel okay, going this way. And it's like, oh, okay, now that I'm aware, I'm conscious that I am in the driver's seat, how do I want to go? Do I want to stop and take a walk? Do I want to stop the car and smell the flowers? Do I want to play in the field? Do I want to, like, relax and watch the stars at night instead of driving and driving and driving? All of those things just like became very, I just realized that there's a whole new world open to me, and nothing is stopping me from exploring that part. That is why, on my channel, I don't talk about things like age. I don't talk about things like marital status or boyfriend and girlfriend and all of those things. I don't talk about it, because it's like, all of those things are immaterial to your beingness. All of those things are immaterial to your existence at the end of the day, you get, from my perspective. Okay, and if you are interacting with me, you're interacting with some part of my world, okay, and it's going to bleed through, and I don't want it to color anybody's perception of me or my perception of them. Hello Naveen, my alien, welcome to the chat. Welcome. So anyways, I've been speaking for a while and it has been getting progressively darker. So I feel like I'm so happy that you stayed through the chat, you stayed through the stream, and you listened, and contributed. I feel so happy that I met somebody like you. I feel like Yeah, I feel happy that I took this time to come on live as usual, not usual, like occasional as I do. So I will see you. It's getting progressively louder outside. It's night time and there's no light in my house, like electricity has gone off. So I'm using my torchlight. I'm using my torchlight and my torchlight is fading, so I have to go. Okay. But thank you so much for spending time with me. Subscribe. I go on live every day. Tomorrow I will be here and I'll be talking about poetry and another book that I'm reading here. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. Yes, I'm in Nigeria. That's what happens in Nigeria. They take lights indiscriminately. They take lights, so we have to plan our days and our lives around darkness. Oh, anyways, yeah. So I have to go right now, so that it doesn't, so that the darkness does not swallow up my touch. Thank you so much, VD. Like I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. Like, oh, I'm so happy you are here. I hope to see you in other live streams. I hope to hear your own story as well. I've been talking. Like I get that way sometimes. Like I just get lost in my own story and I start to sound very preachy. I hope I did not come across as preachy to anybody today. But either ways, I'm so happy that I have so many things to share with people. Like that's the whole reason why I come on live stream. Oh, okay. You have another friend from Nigeria, right? Yeah. You did hear about being in Nigeria that you can be in another part of Nigeria, and like where I am, might be a whole state away from her, or several states away from her, but we are still experiencing the same nonsense electricity problem. So anyways, yeah, it's just a funny thing that happens to Nigerians. But anyways, um what I want to say. Thank you so much for being my audience this evening. You don't know how wonderful like I'm going to feel for the rest of the night. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day as well. Yeah. So I will say goodbye here. The whole of Nigeria is not short of light. The government makes it that way because they make money from the darkness. Oh, VD, I'm so happy I attracted a good listener to my channel. I hope more good listeners also subscribe and stay tuned to my streams. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for paying attention. I appreciate it. I hope you don't get bored. You didn't get bored because I talk a lot. So anyways, I have to go now. So thank you so much for being here. Bye. Thank you for liking the stream. There's this thing YouTube does, hyping channel. So if you could hype my videos, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. To hype my videos, like it, whatever. I will see you tomorrow if possible, if you are aware, if you are available. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Naveen, for stopping by. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody. Good night.